Welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel. This is ExtraTyne, the third week of us doing this, and football is just around the corner. I honestly couldn't tell you what we're going to talk about this week, but I have a feeling it is going to be a good one. I'm joined this week by my co-host Jess.
Hello.
And we've got Matty as well, the new addition to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel.
Hello.
You've literally been talking all week, haven't you, mate?
I have, mate.
Reacting to every single thing that's been going on. And we've also got Andy here today. And Andy does bits for Anyone's Game on Twitter. A brilliant article writer, if I don't say so myself, Andy. I think you've written some of the more sane things throughout the madness that has been the last few weeks, and still things are going on.
See if you're still saying that. The season starts.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, we're all doing it together, and it's an exciting few days ahead for Newcastle United. Just before we start, you might notice that Jess has got her shirt inside out. Matty, I think that is inside out, isn't it?
No sponsors, inside out.
It isn't. No sponsors inside out. I'm going to whack my shirt on very quickly because I'm wearing my IFUCARESHARE top. Hang on 2 seconds. I'm doing this live.
Quick change.
Properly. Doing it like a pro. There we go.
We're all wearing the same gear from the same year as well. That's pretty cool.
Is that where it is?
Yeah. Away, home and training top.
There we go.
That wasn't even planned.
Yeah.
Just need the goalkeeper top coming out at some point. But yeah, we're doing that today. It is World Suicide Prevention Day, the day that we are doing this. And myself, Jess and Matty, we are covering the If You Care Share campaign of getting what's on the inside out. Start the conversation. Ask me why. If there's someone in your life that you know who needs to speak, then please do contact them. Andy, you've got your own top there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your charity?
So November 2018, my nephew killed himself after a 4-year battle with mental health. He was only 19. So his parents set up a charity over in America where they live, just to kind of raise awareness about that. So this is a Crush the Stigma t-shirt, which I wanted to wear for today.
Yeah, fantastic. And Jess, you know a bit more about If You Care Share. Do you want to tell everyone about that?
Yeah, so I went to school with Matthew, one of the founders of the charity. Matthew founded the charity with his brother when their older brother took his own life back in 2005, I believe it was. Basically, they try to prevent suicide and support those who've been bereaved by suicide as well. Their mum, Shirley, she is a wonderful woman.
An angel.
She is. I know you, obviously you, Emil, you know her as well. She's an absolute doll. I love her. She's brilliant. And the work that they do is invaluable. They're amazing. They're just a tiny charity based in Chesley Street, which is my hometown. And yeah, they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. Check them out.
Yeah. And Matt, are you okay?
I'm good.
Yeah.
But just to echo it, like, it is such an important thing. It's such an important thing, and it's awareness, everything. It's such a preventable thing. I think it's something that we need to talk about constantly. So yeah, fully behind everything that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, not to cast aspersions, but I imagine there's a lot of blokes who do watch the channel in particular. So it might seem like it's not the right thing to be doing, talking about your emotions where it's all football and everything. But believe me, there's a hug waiting, as if we just scored a 90th minute equaliser against the Leeds. Okay. I don't know. I was thinking of like the worst team I could think of. That was it. Whoa,
yes, don't say that.
Getting the rivalry started for the season. Yeah. Let's begin, shall we? Last week was a really grim situation. Jess, it was quite strange, isn't it? Because we did the last 7 days thing. Sorry, the last 7 days, next 7 days thing. Things you'd like to see. Matty, you were on the first one. Both times, people said Newcastle need to sign a striker, and we signed a striker. A good striker.
Pinching myself.
Yeah. We're going to wake
Is this
up in
real
a
life?
I know. Is this a fantasy? Caught in a Bournemouth landslide. We'd lost to Middlesbrough as well, and we had no strikers. But what a difference a week makes in the week of Newcastle United. It actually happened. Newcastle signed 3 good signings as it stands. You know, the one bad game from everyone saying they should be sold and everyone gets rid of them. But Andy, I mean, I'll get your thoughts first. How does this week feel in comparison to the last 2 weeks that we've kind of had, seeing everything just completely fall apart for Newcastle?
It's kind of summed up life as a Newcastle fan in what is it now, 4 days, really, hasn't it? You went from Sunday, where you were hoping, Monday and Tuesday it delivered, and then by Wednesday you were back.
Dive in again.
Raining nonsense about the takeover. It's just been like Newcastle in a microcosm, hasn't it? It's a roller coaster week, and the season's not even started yet. So.
Of course, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
No, of course.
Would we? Please, any other way? It is. It's in Newcastle, like I say, in a nutshell. This is what we do best, and strangely enough, it's been spearheaded by none other than Mike Ashley, our owner. Something happens, God knows what, but I want what he's taken. Friday. We'll go back to the last 7 days because this is the week at the glance, even though the bulk part is at the end of it. Ryan Fraser arrived in Newcastle. We thought, yes, this is it. He's going to go in there. And then, amazingly, he walked in on Steve Bruce having a poo. I mean, this is the rumour that went round. And you know what? It worked. It worked. I mean, Matty, if you walked in and saw that, would you say, yeah, I'm going to sign for Newcastle?
Yeah, seeing the end process of the bacon being taken in and the circle of bacon.
The circle of bacon. It's like the Brucey King.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what to hold them up like, but you know,
It's like, Ryan, everything that the grease touches will one day belong to you, and then he signed on the dotted line.
Exactly.
But as we found out, Ryan Fraser was not holding out for another team. He was simply holding out for somebody else, who we will get on to. At the weekend, we had successful bids being mentioned at the same time. We had Rogerio, Lewis as well, who we have signed. Jess, do you think that we're learning from mistakes in this transfer window, just from that excitement that we saw at the start of the weekend?
I would like to think so, but yeah. Well, what I'm going to say, I can't help but think there's some sort of hidden agenda from Ashley.
Ooh.
Given what's happened yesterday, is this a whole like get them all back on side thing? Which we'll see. Just some of the tweets that I've seen and some of the things I've seen, people voting that they've changed his name from like fat cockney bastard to friendly chubby bloke. Like, are you joking?
I'd be quite happy with that, to be honest. Is that a downsize? I'm not sure.
I'd like to think that we'll learn from mistakes, but he's a very self-centered person, and I feel he's in it for himself.
And St. Mike's Park is going to be the renaming of the stadium that we see announced in the news tomorrow, of course. Well, I mean, I don't know if anyone's heard this one already, but hey, Mike Ashley must have thought he was buying John Lewis, eh? Hey? Is this on? Is this on? Hello? Just checking. I think, along with the million other tweets that were put together, you know, if I had £1 for each joke that was made about that, I could probably buy Newcastle. Bid war started with Aston Villa for Callum Wilson. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? It lasted all of 2 minutes, like me trying to buy a coffee machine on eBay when I was at uni. It really heated up. We bidded 20 million and Villa bid 21 million. Whoa, really up there. I mean, Andy, does it make it even better that it was Villa that we were up against? Does that just really keep this rivalry going?
In the short term, yeah. But I guess you look and go, well, we'll see what Wilson does and we'll see what Ollie Watkins does. But I think they've massively overpaid for Watkins. But of course, that could all change if Wilson does his ACL again, which is always the...
Don't speak of that. Don't speak of that. Touching my sideboard. I'm touching wood right now.
Yeah,
it's a Newcastle fan.
Don't get too excited now, Matty, if you're touching wood.
Yeah, these things happen.
But I mean, Andy, we say there about the panic buy. Did you think that Callum Wilson is a panic buy for Villa? Are we joining that as a panic buy? Because for me, it doesn't seem like he's a panic buy, and because we haven't bought him on the final day of the season. He's also not bold, and his name's not Antoine Sibierski.
I don't see Wilson as a panic buy because Wilson's somebody who probably the majority of the Premier League clubs have looked at over the years. He's somebody who scores goals regularly when he's fit. He's clearly somebody who's Premier League quality. He's not a panic buy. I would say that Watkins was a second choice, and based on the fee, Watkins was a panic buy from Villa. So we'll see.
We will see. We'll see.
You never know, do you?
I agree with that. Like, I think that fee for Watkins is ridiculous.
Is it 33 million?
33
is that
million
right? Oh, what on earth?
Massive for a champion.
Might still probably score more goals than Joelinton, though. That's the thing.
We'll see.
Matty, what have you seen of Ollie Watkins? I know we're going into a Villa podcast here, but just I'm trying to get the comparisons here because I know Wilson's a bit older. People are saying that Watkins is a bit of an investment for the future, but I think he 25? It's like saying Carl Darlow is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of eyes were on Ollie Watkins last season, just purely from what Brentford did. They came out of nowhere, started winning every game after lockdown. So as much as he was good at the start of the Championship season, all eyes were on him when they started putting that run together, and unfortunately didn't end up getting promoted automatically, but then played in the playoffs. And he is like, he's got a lot about him. Big physical player, quick, good in the air, good finisher, very efficient in his, taking chances. But again, £33 million. It's a bit mental. It's a bit mental.
Yeah, and I mean, I could probably say he's a bit more like was it Ollie McBurney that Sheffield United signed? Championship came up, and then he was prolific down there, and he's not really set the Premier League on fire. But in a good team like Sheffield United, Championship players can flourish. Chris Wilder's got a bit of a knack for making that happen. Speaking of Championship teams, Newcastle played Stoke on Saturday at home. Back to St James's Park wearing our neon yellow shirts, which look all right, actually, now that they've been played in. Jess, did you see much of that? I mean, what was your feeling after that, even though we'd had the initial lift of hearing about these potential signings?
I was in the middle of the woods in Scotland.
But best place to be.
Which I'm really happy about. Considering the result, I'm very happy about it. I felt a bit deflated afterwards. I'll admit, I've not seen any of the highlights if there were any. I've not really focused much attention on it, to be honest, given everything else that's followed. I think my attention's been on all that. But I did feel a little bit deflated because no one wants to go in a new season on the back of a defeat. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. It's not good for confidence, for team morale, but so much has changed since then.
We might have had the bounce back against Bury if that game had gone ahead, but I know we forgot to mention it last week. But I mean, it's just, again, as Andy said, this week in a nutshell, a game was cancelled on Monday because Newcastle had too many injuries. So God knows. I mean, it's not the best result. A lot of people are saying don't read too much into these pre-season friendlies. But I mean, Andy, you just can't help it, can you? I know it's harder because you're not allowed in the ground and stuff. You can't really see the games for yourself and get that excitement. But I mean, certainly with the Borough game and Stoke game, it doesn't bode well.
The Borough game kind of went against that whole don't read too much into pre-season for me. Because if you're conceding 5 against somebody like Borough, there's clearly issues, and it doesn't matter if it's a friendly. The Stoke game, to be honest, nobody got injured, and that was a result after the Borough game.
3 points.
Barlasser played most of the game. Carroll got 70-odd minutes, didn't get injured.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Take what we can get.
That's a win.
Yeah, Carroll goes to the same barber as me, actually. My barber was telling us that Carroll popped in just after, just stuck his head in, saying if he could do his beard while he was sweeping up. And he was like, yeah, all right. And then my barber has no interest in football and did the standard things of like, oh, should you have won today? And apparently Andy said, yeah. And then, I mean, he's had an eventful week, so we'll get on to him. Very eventful.
Your barber, Andy Carroll.
Yeah, Andy Carroll. Yeah, I mean, it's one haircut with me, Andy, and it's madness. I nearly forgot about Carroll's week there. We will get onto that. I mean, you mentioned Dan Balasa there. Dan Blazer, I've heard. Dan Blazer, if you want to call him. The pass they picked out, I don't know if you saw it, Matty, but it was Shelvey-esque, and we might have a deputy from him. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it. It was one of the only bits I saw from the game, to be honest. And I think him having game time, Bruce is definitely having a look at him. He's definitely seeing what he's got about, because he obviously had a good season with Rotherham Was it Rotherham? Rotherham last season, and
your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, and I think he's just sort of just making sure that he's not going to let anyone go under the radar. So it'll be interesting to see whether, if it comes to the season, that he might ship him out on loan. I'm not too sure, because he plays central midfield. You've got the two long staffs, Hendrick, Hayden and Shelby. So whether he'll get game time, I'm not too sure. But he's definitely taking a look at him. So we'll have to see what happens with Dan Barlaser.
Yeah, well, central midfielders seems to be something that we're absolutely loving at the minute, with a potential bid lodged again for the Lille player Soumare. But it's centre backs which I'm worried about. We haven't got one in yet, but we had Hayden starting at the back against Stoke. Jess, are you worried about that situation? I know we've got Lejeune potentially going out on loan.
That's what I was just about to say. Like the fact that we're not getting rid of, but Lejeune might be going on loan, or is going on loan. That does concern us, because I don't understand that. I can't get my head around it. I don't know why. I don't feel like we're in a position to have any outgoings, to be honest with you. So getting rid of Lejeune does concern us a little bit. And I do like Lejeune as well. I think he is a good player. So
for me, I mean, bar the horrible performances and that weird few seconds against Everton, I think still Lejeune is the most gifted defender, centre-back that we've got. And there was a great moment for the season prior to the Kane should have been red card, and then what he did after that when he did return. He looked a solid unit in that team. And like I said, Lejeune is set to be off to Alaves for a season-long loan.
Back with Hosselu. Back with
Hosselu. Yeah, the lads get the band back together.
That's why he's leaving. He's knocked on Steve Bruce's door and he said, I miss Hosselu.
Hoover those long balls up to Hosselu, and he'll bundle it over his own feet, and it might just bounce over the Liverpool keeper or the Tottenham keeper or whoever. He scored some goals, didn't he?
It does make you think why Lejeune is going. Like there must be a reason as to why Lejeune is going.
Well, I think the main thing is we've got Fernandes and Lascelles. That is your main two. It's as simple as that. They are your starting pair because of the relationship that they've built up. I know Lascelles doesn't have the best of times, but I think that him and Fernandes, when you've got familiarity at the back, it's good. It's worrying when Share's still injured, I know, but I think that the signings aren't done yet. That's something to look forward to. Maybe
no, that's something I need to remember. I think it's not over yet.
Keep your fingers crossed. Yeah, centre backs take over everything. Gale is confirmed to be out for 3 to 4 months, which isn't great. However, thankfully, Monday arrived and we had a hell of a day. Midday on Monday, Callum Wilson in a Newcastle shirt. Andy, he looked good, didn't he?
He's a good-looking man, isn't he?
Yeah, even better in black and white.
I know, yeah, he did look good. Those tops certainly look better on professional athletes than they do on your dad at the pub, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what,
he looked the part in his interview, though, didn't he?
He looked better than Malcolm McDonald when he got made to model for the 125th anniversary kit. They just did not look like they want to be there. Sorry, Malcolm, I love you, but my word, it wasn't a great idea. Him and Beardsley just behind Dwight Gale celebrating. It's strange, very very strange marketing campaign. Andy, what do you actually think of Wilson? Just from your opinion, I mean, we've mentioned about panic buys and stuff, but in terms of a player coming in, do you think we're going to see Rondon Mark II?
I think he's more like Remy, Mark II, based on his style of play. If he's fit, he'll score goals, and he's exactly what that attack is missing in terms of you've got those creative players behind with nobody there on the end of anything, and he will be that guy. He'll be in there in the right positions, and he'll be on the end of those balls across the box. If he's fit, he'll score.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm just the idea of seeing that a player is guaranteed to score. I mean, he's going to score a goal this season. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but again, Matty, I'm touching my wood now.
I'm not doing it. My hands are in.
There's so much wood today. It's one of them. But I'm really excited to see what he brings on. I did enjoy the fact that there was a secret stadium photo from someone who was in the ground. Just get one in there before the thing came out. So much so that the Jamal Lewis photos were almost like vetoed. Everyone was cleared out. But my favourite thing about Callum Wilson joining is the fact that he referenced the film goal, Matty. Matty, what is it about that film that makes players just drool at the prospect?
Because it's the stereotypical classic rags to riches story. You know, the cinematography is gorgeous. The acting is impeccable.
Yeah,
and, you know, you have to just take your hat off to every actor in that film. That really, it's centered around one of the biggest clubs in the world, Newcastle United, and it's just a gorgeous movie, really.
My favourite thing about it, I think, is that the soundtrack appears to be a CD ripped off the front of an NME magazine.
With more
it's like, right, just press next, Kasabi, press next, it's Oasis, press next, it's Oasis again, I don't care, press next. Great film that I think everyone should watch before Callum Wilson starts against West Ham at the weekend. It would be a good rite of passage. But yeah, no Wilson is complete without his Fraser. We completed that deal for Ryan Fraser, even though he saw the deepest, darkest secrets of Steve Bruce's office. I'm just going to keep that one going forever. Yeah, and Fraser was revealed in the most amazing way by the admin, Jess.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Like, honestly, I just thought it was genius. But then someone's seen today that there was four tweets in a row that spelled CANS. So everyone's like, "Oh, takeover's back on, lad." I
have to say that I've seen that, and he's got it bang on. The last 4 tweets since the club statement. The club statement is a C, and it's ANS after that. So
they are.
Grant Pringle is a very bored man today, and he get that man a signing. Get that man a signing, Bruce.
He's brilliant. He's hilarious. He's absolutely. He's got everyone on tenterhooks. It's class. I love it.
It's weird, this art of the football club Twitter admin, because it's such a big thing now, isn't it, Andy? I mean, it's almost like the big role that seems to be at the club now.
Yeah, it's huge. And I mean, I think last season it was Fun 88 who were providing it for the fans, really, with the kind of engaging, fun tweets, and all of a sudden it's the official club site that's doing it.
Yeah,
and you got fans going, "Oh, more photos of this player," and then
there
was a great one where a Norwich fan said, "No more pictures of Jamal Lewis," so they posted 4 more pictures. It was like a cheery thing.
It begs the question why Norwich players are watching the Newcastle account so much, but every other team is obsessed with Newcastle. You can't have them all, can you? Ryan Fraser was confirmed. Matty, I know you kind of did a quick breakdown on your initial thoughts, but you looked at the stats, and we saw the stats about Fraser's assisting, but it was the double work between the two of them that was really impressive. Can you just give us a bit of a lowdown on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, people who haven't watched the video, it was something along the lines of 2 seasons ago, they worked together and combined for a total of 12 goals, and the only partnership to better that in the Premier League since its inception was Shearer and Sutton at Blackburn. Now, I'm not going to say that the next Shearer or Sutton or any of them are as good as Alan Shearer.
Didn't they win a league title? Is that what you're saying, Matty? Is that what you're saying? Say it now. We're going to win it.
We're going to win it! Cans. I'm sick of cans. I think I just think they've obviously got a chemistry. Mm-hmm. The fact that you've said, you've touched on it, that Fraser only wanted, I'm not saying only wanted to come, he was obviously attracted by the prospect in Newcastle, but only, he wanted to come if Wilson was joining. He's obviously got a close relationship with him, and that can only have a positive effect on the pitch, as long as, fingers crossed, they keep fit. So, yeah, Fraser, like I said in previous videos, I feel like he might give us that balance on the left, free Miggy up in the middle. As long as everyone keeps fit across that 3 in front, behind the striker, we might be onto something. Hopefully.
I hope so. I really do. I'm trying to think of the last time Newcastle signed 2 players from the same club at the same time. Has there been something like that? Was it Viduka and Alan Smith, or did Smith come from Man United?
Smith came from Man United. Viduka was on
and Viduka was Borough, wasn't he? Yeah,
was a Borough. Yeah. So
I know they didn't come from the same club, but when we signed Debussy, I know that was a lot because he was
Debussy came after Cabaye, didn't he?
With Cabaye, yeah.
And I guess Tiote was 20, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and Demba Ba and Papa Cisse. Obviously, I know this is it.
That's a.
that's at national level, obviously, but they obviously that was obviously
did a deal with Senegal saying, "Can we have them both?"
I've just said Ghana there.
No,
It's
Senegal.
only one country. Never mind.
No, both the Senegalese. It was Atsu's Ghanaian who we've got.
Young, do they count?
So, well, they at different times, wasn't it, Luke? I don't know. Was
They had an influence on each other, though.
Yeah.
Brotherly love to go.
Brotherly love. Yeah. Well,
that worked out so well.
If you haven't learned anything, you've got to bring the brothers up through the youth system, the Amiobis, forever. Right, a brief break in ceremonies here, just to mention that Newcastle have been tied against Blackburn Bloody Rovers in the Carabao Cup. What a prospect, eh? And if that didn't get you going for that cup run, we might face the mighty Morecambe or Oldham Athletic in the next round. But that would be dreaming now, wouldn't it? Getting through that first round. I mean, do you see a cup run happening, Jess? Do you think it could happen in the League Cup this year with the new signings added? No.
After pre-season, I'm inclined to say no, but
yeah.
Let's just get the next couple of weeks out of the way and see where we're at.
I think it is in a couple of weeks. That's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Carabao's already kicked off. Sunderland.
I'm lost because it's so late on and so all over.
It is strange, and I know that there's been a lot of talk about getting excited for the new season, but it's really kicked in for me this week with it all. I don't know. It'd be nice to have another cup run. I think if we're going to do anything,
it would be.
We've got the quality that we saw us beat Rochdale twice after 2 games, Oxford after 2 games, and then Man City. No, let's not talk about that.
I don't want that cup run though. If we have a cup run, I want like a straight through cup run. I can't be dealing with the extra games and the extra time and stuff like that.
Well, extra games over the Christmas New Year period really did do us, and if injuries is the thing at the minute, then we do not want that.
If that's what cup run means, then no.
Aren't replays gone now?
Replays have gone from the League Cup, actually. Yeah, I think.
I thought it was the FA Cup. The FA Cup because they were never in the League Cup because they brought in straight to penalties, and then
The problem is, Matty, that we now have no chance of beating people in the first time. So that's the issue here. Andy Carroll, we didn't really mention it because it was happening as we were on last week, but he had a run-in with a pizza owner. Probably just one of the best things I've ever seen. The way that Newcastle Twitter came together against one man who pulled out his pizza dough and he threw it back. And sensational. Carroll versus Cow. They will be making a film. Tom Hardy playing both characters. Jamal Lewis, Andy. I don't know much about him. I've heard he's good. I've seen our fans getting very excited about him. Something tells me that I think people are really excited about Lewis because it's almost unknown territory with him.
I think there's a couple of things about the Lewis signing. One is, and I mean this is no disrespect to Paul Dummett, who I've always defended and quite enjoyed as a defender, but it brings the end to the Paul Dummett era as the only left back who we have. And having someone who can carry the ball, provide width, pace to that side of the pitch, will just bring a balance to the team. I was reading something today saying that we had the second worst attack and third worst defence in the league last season. And he should improve both those areas because we're defended deeper than any other side in the league last season. We were passive out of possession. So if you add pace to a defence, that should address both those issues, allow you to be more aggressive because he's got the pace to recover. And he brings someone who can progress the ball into advanced areas. So it just brings something completely different to that left side that we haven't had consistently, and he's young enough to develop.
Yeah.
So I think he brings everything you want.
23 is he? Is he
22?
22, right. So yeah, a very young signing. He's a Northern Ireland international. He came back from their camp and signed from Norwich, which is another canny buy. I heard another podcast saying that it does seem like Norwich are doing what Southampton did maybe with bringing these young prospects through, selling them on and then reinvesting in an effort to come back up, I guess. Matty, I know we didn't really get your initial reaction to Jamal Lewis, but is there anything that excites you about him?
just basically echoing Andy's comments, really. He improves us on both ends. I've read a couple of things about him since. Obviously, saw things last season to sort of back those comments up. But he's been described as a calm player. He's cool in possession, good in transition, whether you win the ball and go on attack or you're breaking back to defend your goal. And he's good at crosses as well. So I mean, Paul Dummett. I mean, I've seen him put some alright balls in the box, but he's never that close to the box to put the balls in. So hopefully he's going to be doing overlapping runs and putting the ball in the box and giving us that outlet going forward as well as covering left back.
Yeah, it's just the idea that there's depth now, isn't there? I mean, I'm sorry, my lights are going out here. You mentioned Paul Dummett and his ghost is just broken in the room there. But yeah, it's the depth. It's the excitement of what could happen on that wing now. There's been talk that Muto could be on his way, but I've seen him in the video today with him getting his pictures taken. I guess that's just all part of the process. But yeah, what an exciting week. Jess, is this the best not takeover? Oh God, slip it in. Just Tourette's given in there. Is this the best transfer window we've had? Well, which is your favourite transfer window, and is this one of them?
I'd say this is probably if they prove to be good, it'll be one of my favourites. But January 2013, that was a good one.
Is that Sissoko?
It was Debussy, Sissoko, Gouffran, Haidara, and Babu, obviously, who didn't really go anywhere.
Was Kevin and Babu signed then, was he?
That was January 2013, yeah.
Was it? Wow. Yeah. I mean, all I can remember is the picture of them all sat in the training tops at the ground. Mm-hmm. And then we had a French day. The Strawberry changed its name. It was a very.
God.
Did Newcastle just take acid that weekend?
I forgot about that.
What the hell happened? We had literally the French national anthem played before the game. What's going to happen? What's going to happen against? What's our first proper full home game? What is it? Is it Brighton? What the hell's going to happen in town? Jesus, They'll have to lock it down to make sure no one does it again.
I might be wrong, but they might be wrong. But Jess just mentioned Mbabu there, 2013. I think he was the last first team signing for over a year after that, because I think we only signed Olivier Cayman, if you remember him.
Yes, yeah, we did.
And then I think our next signing was Iose, and he wasn't even meant to be the first team signing.
I completely wiped Olivier Cayman.
I haven't followed his career since he left.
What did he look like?
He was like a little mini Toyota. He was like bigger Romana as well. Like just the big spiky, sort of big spiky hair.
Oh yes. Yeah, and where did he go to?
I can't remember. I think it was a French team. I think I'm not too sure, because there was a bit of an uproar when we sold him, because
he was going to be
he's meant to be okay, but I haven't seen anything of him since though.
Yeah, you're right. We had that transfer window January 2013, and then it was just
that was the last time
we peaked.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that the Wijnaldum transfer window was also all right. It's just a shame that we went down at the end of it. Let's not hope lightning is striking twice here. That's all I will say. Speaking of lightning striking twice, San Maximan again with a zinger on Twitter this week. The ultimate put down to a Sunderland fan. I've got a mate who's a Sunderland fan. He's actually reminded me that we started it by bringing up the fact that Callum Wilson apparently had scored more than Supakev for England. But I simply said, look, mate, I don't give a shit. I didn't tweet it. He's like, no, but you said you can't make jokes about Kevin. And I said, what? But yeah, Alan just gets it, doesn't he? And it just adds to the thing. And I mean, Twitter's been a joy this week. Andy, you mentioned it as well. We've got the Andy Carroll video of Matt Ritchie eating his dinner, saying that we've brought Bournemouth to Ritchie. It's the most wholesome thing you've ever seen. Poor Matt Ritchie just wants to eat his radishes, and he's not leaving him alone. But I mean, it's good news that Ritchie is, as far as we know, staying, isn't it, Andy?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I still haven't worked out what Ritchie says.
Well, I feel the rumour that he might be saying my name.
100 times.
It sounded like a teacher doing the register when I was in school and going, who's the Neil?
I saw somebody comment saying he's a brave man wearing a white T-shirt eating a tomato-based dish. So it was pretty.
You just know that if he
Seems like he lives on that side of the tracks, though. He lives on that side of the track, Richie. Like, he
Yeah.
will. He'll under Salah with a white t-shirt on. He'll love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll down it. He'll like long arm his dish and he'll be straight in.
It is great, isn't it? I'm becoming more of a stat man since writing for the website. We've got a lad called Chris who writes loads of stat analysis.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going. I was waiting for the stats here to come, Andy.
Yeah, there was one that nobody, despite missing half the season last season, nobody put the ball into the box more than Matt Ritchie.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't. Wow.
Says
oh
a
my
lot.
God.
For you.
Wow.
Feast on that one. So, you know, it is great that he's staying, and he does offer that X factor in terms of influencing the squad.
Yeah.
That you can never be sure of from players. He is an important guy to have about. So
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that he's there. I'm thrilled that he's still here and he's got his mates with him. It's lovely, isn't it? He's got. I bet they're all in a house together now. You know, like bunk beds. And, you know, Fraser and Richie on one side.
Film next year.
I can't wait. Yeah, up the Nadgers with the corner flag. Look, we are getting towards the end, and I would spend a bit of time talking about the big news over the last few days, but quite frankly, I couldn't give two of them, right? Because I'm bored of it. And, you know, people watching right now who are expecting some sort of big takeover talk, you can read the news, and the truth is, no one bloody knows what's going on. No one knows if it was a bid. No one knows what's going on. The best. He's been waiting. He's been waiting on that. Is it you?
It was you.
It was you, pal.
Big reveal.
Oh God, we've been duped.
That's incredible.
But have a good debut.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I said we had time for it. I could have quickly glossed over that there, but yeah. I mean, I gave my 10 cents on it last night. Yeah. Quick. She'll be listening.
Chris just texted.
I did say last night that I'm absolutely sick of the takeover stuff. Andy, you touched on it as well, that you are getting into Twitter this week. We're seeing the good side of it. The admins bouncing. We're ready for a game against West Ham. We've got a cracking England striker, a Scotland international, Northern Ireland international as well. And all of a sudden it reared its ugly head, and it was apparently Mike Ashley starting it off again. God knows why, because we were quite quiet this week. So he thought, nah, go on, shut that in. I describe it like that video where someone gets the frozen chips and chucks them into a pan, and then it just explodes. Pretty much what happened with the takeover. Look, I would ask the questions, but I think it's just going to get as aggravated. Jess, you said your piece on what you think about the whole Mike Ashley loving.
Yeah, I just.
Be careful, is what I would say to everyone.
You can't forget the last 13 years, because he's come. I mean, he's not one for communicating really. Anyway, he's come out and communicated with us. Said what he believes is right. Whether or not it's true, we don't know. I was just about to say, it's like when you send like the risky drunk text.
Yeah,
and then you see it in the morning, you're like, oh my
God. He threw up in a fireplace. He just threw up.
Yeah. Richard Master's fireplace. He just texted him saying, "Hello, you slut."
But then for it to what's been said today, like from the other side of the argument, I think it's going to get interesting, but I don't think any of us need to get too wound up about it, because I don't think it's going to have any impact on us whatsoever. I think it's between Mike Ashley and it's between the Premier League. I don't think it's got anything to do with Newcastle United. Nothing's going to change for us.
And I think the one thing to remember is it's between Mike Ashley and his money, which is what's standing in his way.
Exactly.
So that is the one thing that you do not come between. It doesn't matter what the club is involved in. It doesn't matter if there was a second takeover on the way. The fact is that whatever this second bid was that's been going on, fine if it's happening in private. But for me, anything that happens from here on, keep it. Just don't mention it, because. We mentioned last week the players know what to do now. They're going to ignore everything, but I'm just ready to move on with it. Let's talk about the football. We'll make this a little bit longer tonight, just because we have got a season to preview. In the next 7 days, I normally ask, what would you like to see? But I guess we'll divvy this up here. Matty, first of all, for you, what formation, what setup would you like to see on Saturday? How would you like to see Newcastle start? Which players in there, maybe?
I think probably just the same sort of pick our lineup type of pictures you've seen on Twitter. Really, back four. Probably shot Lewis in there. I'm sure he's fit enough. Fernandez, Lascelles, Manquillo. Obviously, it's going to probably be Darlow, even though he didn't look the greatest in that 5-1 drubbing against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I believe Darlow's been offered a new deal as well, but I guess that's just part and parcel if your main keeper's out. If
we can, you've got Almiron. They might even play Sean Longstaff ahead of the midfield with Shelby and Hayden, and then Almiron, St. Maximin and Wilson, because I don't think Fraser will be fit enough to start the game. There's already been noises about that. Bruce has said that he's not quite ready just yet. He has said he's keeping himself fit, but like I said before, he hasn't kicked the ball competitively since lockdown. So we'll see what happens with him. If he makes the bench, great, but obviously I can understand why they wouldn't start him.
Yeah, and I just hope it happens. Andy, is there any type of style that you'd like to see us play on Saturday? How do you think we can take it to West Ham? Do you think there'll be a repeat of our last trip to the London Stadium?
I think all I want to see from Newcastle in these early games is to be more aggressive without the ball. Yeah. That thing I mentioned, we were the most passive team in the league last season. The number of passes a team made before we approached them is the worst in the league. You want to see
that go for it attitude like we saw against the game against Leicester when the tackles were flying in, don't you?
I don't mind if we sit back. We did it plenty under Rafa. Sorry to bring up. Burnsley's probably having a fit right now. I don't mind that style of play as long as you go and engage the opposition.
Yeah.
So, we sat back in the right way under Rafa. That was the right. We stood in the right way.
Aggression,
yeah.
Especially with a team like West Ham, who are probably the only team who can rival us for the biggest mess in the league pre-season. So
yeah,
just go for them.
Yeah, but don't criticise anyone's owner until you've lived under the Golden Sullivan regime, guys. Don't say a word to them; they will cry. Yeah, Jess, do you want to hesitate a guess at what you reckon the score might be on Saturday?
I'm going to say 2-0 to us.
Right.
And I'm going to say Wilson will get a goal.
He loves to score against West Ham. He did.
Yeah,
traditionally
he
does.
did. He said it in his interview, and it has filled me with confidence, which doesn't happen very often. So I'm gonna go straight in there. I'm gonna say 2-0, and I'm gonna say Wilson's gonna score at least one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for a draw, maybe a 1-1, just given the way that football seems to be coming back. Looking at the international games, it still doesn't seem like teams are up for it enough or ready enough. But with the 7-week break, it says a lot. We might as well do all score predictions. Andy, have you got one for the game?
I'm going to go somewhere in the middle of you two. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet with our goalkeeper situation.
Yeah.
But, I think there's a bit more about us at the moment, a bit more positivity around us than there is West Ham. I agree with Jess. I think Wilson will score. 2-1.
It's written there, isn't it, Matty?
I've actually entered a predictor league at work, and I'm the most pessimistic Newcastle fan out there. But
here we go.
But I went 3-1 Newcastle. I don't know.
Right, okay.
I just thought of like Andy just said about the positivity. I'm hoping that we don't have to have three defenders, or not three defenders, but two defenders score 2 of the 3 goals like we did last season. I'm hoping Jess is right and Wilson scores. But since Wilson's, one of the first things he said was, I love playing against West Ham. It'd be so Newcastle that if he pulls up in the first 5 minutes and Joe Linton replaces him. So I hope
Matty,
thank you.
Matty, I know you're new to this channel, but don't talk like that. Don't.
Okay, to start like that, but let's not finish like that, however.
Yeah, I know.
I said 3-1, didn't I?
Stop talking.
He did. He said 3-1.
We're going for the start of the season that we saw under Sam Allardyce. How about that day? What a great day that was. Obafemi Martins.
He broke his neck.
Top of the league. Don't stop saying that players are going to get injured. Stop.
What he did?
No, right, Matty. Stop. I'll say it a bit. I'll write. I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter and put it on your window. And listen here, Rich, whatever he said. Okay, right. To quote the great Mike Ashley, God rest his soul. No. He did say we make our own luck from now on. I would like to say that Newcastle United this season are doing just that. It's been an interesting week. It's been a roller coaster of the week. Ignore whatever anybody says, human or not, about this bloody takeover.
Flower or not.
Flower or not. Tori,
She can't say anything anyway. She's suspended.
Well, she's gone. She's gone.
She's away.
I'm going to open another can.
She is gone.
Listen, pal. Listen. Oh God.
She's back.
Right. It's time.
The perennial bloom.
Oh, isn't that like a fragrance by Lynx?
Oh,
yeah. Essence of Kate, essence of pure shite, may I add. This has been ExtraTyne. Thank you to Jess, my co-host, Matty, and Andy, who's been a very welcome addition to the crew this week. Good luck, and check out anyone's game on Twitter. They're one of the good ones out there. And aware the stats as well, is it, Andy, that you've been doing, is it?
That is one of our writers, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, right, well, that'll do. You're all linked.
We're all linked.
Let's see what happens in this next week. The next 7 days are going to be very interesting, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us.